Welcome to Seahawks Mailbag, where we are going to be answering all of the questions that you guys left for us. We've got some good ones here, and we're going to break them all down. But first up, like this video if you're excited for week one. We're only a couple days away. I'm super excited and can't wait to break down some of these questions you guys had for us. All right, so our first question we have is coming from Aiden Rainey channel. He says, #Seahawks. Will Eskridge have a good year? I think yes. I think yes, but contingent on can he stay healthy. Eskridge is obviously a great player. The Seahawks really believed in him. They used their top pick to get him out of Western Michigan. He kind of has proven himself in the little bit of time we have seen. He only had 2 touches during the preseason, but both were good. We had a fly sweep carry for 9 yards. We had a 19-yard reception. I think that he's a good player. He could be a dominant player, but the problem is he's still dealing with that toe injury that that happened back in June. And I think the team kind of expected it to be a lot better by now. They thought during that 6-week period from June till training camp that it would heal. It kind of hasn't. So now they're just going to be left in a situation where it's, hey, we're going to just manage this. We're not going to let it heal completely. And that could obviously impact the way that Eskridge is playing. How many touchdowns do you guys think Eskridge is going to have in 2021? Let me know in the comments. Interested to hear what you guys think. Next question we've got is from Batman Fan 20 Batman. He's got 2 Batmans in his name. He says, when is Seahawks going to sign Geno Atkins? I like that move. I think that Geno Atkins would be a good addition. Obviously, he's not in his prime anymore. So when you sign him, you're not expecting to get some amazing cornerback, but I'm sorry, good, amazing D-line. But I think that he has proven himself over many years to be a dominant player. And the linebacker group looks good for Seattle right now, but the D-line needs some help. And so that's where I think that Geno Atkins could come in and kind of just give some more depth to that area. He was spent 11 years at the Bengals. They ended up cutting him and saved them a lot of money in salary cap. And if he did sign, he would be reunited with Carlos Dunlap, who he played with in Cincinnati. I think it's just good to have pass rushers for depth. I think that a lot of people are just using his 2020 stats to kind of make a picture for who he is as a player. And yes, if you look at 2019 compared to 2020, it's a major difference. They didn't even really utilize him much at the end of the season, but he also had surgery on his rotator cuff back in June. So I think a lot of the decline could possibly be because his shoulder wasn't good back last year. So I think that it's not a bad sign, but also he's got to realize that he's not going to be able to get paid the price that he has been in the past. Do you guys think the Seahawks should sign Geno Atkins? Go to the comments, type Y for yes if so, and type N for no if not. Next question we got in here is from Andres Veronica. He says, #Seahawks. Can the second-year player Jordyn Brooks break out? I love this question, and I love this guy. I think absolutely. I think rookie linebackers have a really hard time adjusting to the NFL. College is so much slower, so when they get to the pros, it's kind of hard to keep up. And I think that just in the short period of time we saw him last season, he had a lot of improvement from the beginning of the year to the end. I think that just with this next year, him getting a little bit more comfortable, the game will start to kind of slow down for him. And I think that he'll be able to trust his own instincts. And we'll get to see kind of what we saw out of him when he was at Tech. But again, last year wasn't bad. He started the year rough, only playing 3 of the first 5 games due to a knee injury. And also, like I said, just not having adjusted completely. But as the year went on, he finished the last 11 games with 52 total tackles. He had 57 overall. He's got no interceptions, but he's got 2 tackles for loss. I think that he's going to have a breakout year. I'll actually put him as my Seahawks breakout player of the year. Next up, though, we've got a trade offer from WAZVS. That's a pretty difficult username. Can we take out the V or the S? But they say All right. How about the Seahawks receive Greedy Williams and they trade a 2022 fourth round pick and a 2023 second round pick? He says they just drafted CB2 and he's been injured for them. So obviously he's talking about Trey Brown here, but I'm not a fan of this trade. I mean, I get where he's coming from, where yes, it sucks to see Trey Brown injured already. You drafted him. You wanted, hoping that you would get to see him early on in the season. But why would you trade and get a guy that's also an injury-prone player in Greedy Williams? He hasn't even proven himself to me that much. I don't like replacing an injured guy with another injury guy. He's been questionable a lot, and giving up a second pick is just too much, in my opinion. I do like the idea of the Seahawks getting another cornerback, but if you're going to give up a second round pick, I don't want it to be for someone that's going to be questionable most games. I could be wrong, though. What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks do this trade? If so, type T for trade. If not, type P for pass. I'm going to pass on this one. I just think that, again, if you're going to give up that much, you need a solid guy. And I just don't think Greedy Williams has proven that to be the case. Next up, though, we've got a question from Jaclaire. I hope I got that right. They say, will the Seahawks stop giving me heart attacks in the fourth quarter this season? That's funny. No, it's the NFL. I think that pretty much all games there's no complete dominant, hey, this is going to be a blowout game. Yes, it happens, but I think it's rare. And especially the history of Seattle, they have a small margin of victory. So I wouldn't get too excited about seeing a lot happen in the first half and not worrying about the second. Except I would feel a little bit stress-free knowing that you've got Russell Wilson under center. He's a good guy to have in the fourth quarter. But again, it's the NFL. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter. If you guys are liking these videos, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We want to keep you guys updated in all things Seahawks, especially as the season gets going. We want to keep giving you guys videos, and we need that engagement up. Lastly, we've got Little Smooch asking, #Seahawks, what has to happen in order for the Seahawks to have a legit Super Bowl shot? Now, a lot has to happen because you're playing in the hardest division in the NFL. But I'd say my top three things is the pass defense needs to improve. The line needs to hold up, and Russell needs to stay healthy. If those three things can happen, then you've got a good chance at making the playoffs. But again, when you're looking at a division like the Rams, the Cardinals, and San Fran, it's a hard competition. The Rams just got Matthew Stafford, and we're excited to see what he can do. I think the 49ers are in a good situation. They said they're going to start Jimmy G, but if all goes wrong with him, they've got their new rookie in Trey Lance. So it's a very difficult division, and you don't know what's going to happen with the Cardinals. So I hate it for Seattle because it's always, this part seems unfair. But I do think that if they can figure those three things out, Seattle will have a great chance at making the playoffs. But what do you guys think? I want you to predict the Seattle Seahawks record in the comments. What do you think their season is going to look like? We will keep you updated as the season continues, and we're excited for week 1.